Wow, so the box I was waiting for came way earlier than expected. The time frame that I had as the shipping was not for a couple more weeks. So awesome news when I got home. This box was waiting for me. Let's go ahead and crack this open. This is kind of what I've been waiting for. One of the most fearful things and one of the most exciting things we can do to our rotary vehicles. So let's get it open. So as you guys know from the title, this is a rotary compression tester. Something that is completely necessary for any of you RX8 owners out there or any rotary owner out there. It is the lifeblood of your car. So in order to know how much life you have left in your car, you need to periodically do compression tests. A lot of signs will tell you if the car is good or not, but those don't always truly point to the compression. So I did tons of research. There's a couple local people that do full rotary compression tests, which if you don't know by now, these compression testers can cost thousands. And then a few companies came out now, one of which I purchased from based out of Australia, which is Innovative Electronics. Could not find a single review on this item, but it was less than $200 for the compression tester. It shipped and sold in Australian dollars. I think it was 190 or 179 Australian dollars plus shipping. And you can see here they paid $41.18 postage. And it shipped directly from Australia. Came nicely packaged, labeled fragile. So I wanted to point that out. Came in a nice box labeled DCT 500 Pro Series. And I have not cracked into this yet, but you can see it's nicely bubble wrapped. So this is probably the most exciting day so far with the rotary car, and also one of the most frightening days. Exciting because who would have thought you could find a rotary compression tester that looks like this? This looks like the one that sells for closer to $500. So I'm excited. I know a lot of times people get weary about eBay items, especially ones that don't have reviews. If it's not expensive and the product looks good, it's not shipping from China, sometimes I'll take that risk, and I'm willing to take that risk for you guys out there. So I am going to absolutely post a link in the description, and I'm going to give you a full review. If this thing just fails, doesn't work right out of the box, you're going to know about it. If this thing works perfectly, you're also going to know about it. So let's go ahead, open up the packaging and take a full look at this, and then get into doing our compression testing. Alright guys, so here's the full instructions for this compression tester. It may be slightly different from other rotary compression testers, so make sure to follow the instructions fully. As you can see, we're going to be using the trailing plug. A lot of the other ones will use the leading plug. So let's go ahead and get everything set up. One other thing I want to make sure is you go and get a new high quality battery before starting the test. So let's go ahead and get set up. Okay guys, so after you remove your fuel pump relay and fuel pump fuse, you want to make sure you remove the crankshaft sensor, and that's going to be the best way I found to do it is to jack the car up on one side, the driver's side usually, and then slide underneath, and you're going to go right between this oil pan and this brace right here. And let me show you, the crankshaft sensor is right there. The gray plug, yours might look a little different if it's dirty. And you can see there's a little clip right there. You can usually reach up in there with either some pliers or if you have small enough hands, you can grab it. What I did was I used two flathead screwdrivers and pried it up while pushing the tab in. So hopefully that helps you guys out on that. And next we're going to be able to go ahead and start the removal of the spark plugs and then starting the car. Okay, so what's really cool about this device is this part does come off. Now, I did have an issue with mine that I'm going to point out. There was a rubber gasket that came with it. I just set it off to the side somewhere, but it basically went around here, and it broke prior to me being able to install this. So basically this is the cord, which is very long, so we'll be able to have this inside the car when we're testing it, which is really nice. and then this part goes in your spark plug. So you want to hand tighten it and then attach that back. So you can see here we've got the car jacked up. Can easily access our top trailing plug. Now I know some of the other devices tell you to use the leading, but this one in the instructions said use the trailing, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get this thing attached and test it out. Okay, so we want to go ahead and turn our device on, and it does display 000 across. I don't know if oh, there we go, yep. So you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and crank the car for 10 seconds. So let's go. All right, so we've got 90, 92, and 86 at 241 RPM. That is in our first rotor. So we're gonna basically jot that down, and then we're gonna do our next rotor. So let's go ahead and put the plug back in and test out our next rotor. Okay, now we're gonna do our second rotor, which you've got to turn it off and back on to clear all of the data. So let's go ahead and crank it. 2. So we've got 85, 84, 84 at 238 RPMs. Now we're going to go ahead and put this data into the system that you can, the link that's on the website, and that is going to give us what our PSI is, so we can calculate how good our engine still is, the compression on it. So let's go ahead and do that now. So the first thing we need to do is get our elevation by clicking on the link on the site provided. After we have our elevation, we can then input the information we got by running the compression test, making sure we select the right engine, and then normalize the ratings. So this is the first rotor, and then we move on and we input the same information for the second rotor, making sure we normalize reading. Once we have the normalized readings shown down below, we can then take those and go onto Google and search for a PSI to bar change, and we input each one of those, and as you can see, here are the results for each one of the rotor heads. Each one is slightly different but very close. Actually, the last two were exactly the same. So each one of my readings were above a 6, so about a 6.5 down to as low as a 6.2 reading. So not bad. So let's go ahead and check what that means. Alright guys, so here's a chart that I pulled from Driven by Madness's website. Awesome guy, tons of rotary stuff, specifically on the RX-8. I'll put a link, check it out. But as you can see here, we are in the okay but starting to save up for a new engine rebuild, which is kind of what I suspected. So the engine that I purchased was rebuilt, but I'm unaware of how long it's been since the rebuild. So what I'm going to be doing now is saving for a rebuild, and for you guys out there that are interested in following me, like, subscribe, and share, I'm going to be doing a port as well. So we're going to be porting the engine and rebuilding the engine within the year. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys want to know more about this compression tester, please check the link. I loved it. It's awesome, high quality for the price. I definitely give it a thumbs up and a 9 out of 10. Have a great day, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.